Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over and talking about the Orioles' 6-1 loss to the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 1 of this 3-game weekend series. The Orioles lost to the Blue Jays 6-1 today. But also, there's only 15 games remaining left of the MLB season for the Orioles. Obviously, we know that they're not going to make the playoffs, so we don't even have to worry about October baseball for the Orioles. September 28th is the final day of the season for the Orioles. And we're down to the last 15 games of the year after today. Well, 15 games starting tomorrow. But today, the Orioles did lose 6-1 to the Blue Jays in Toronto in Game 1 of this 3-game series. Tough loss. The offense couldn't really do much today, really much of anything. I think the offense only had 3 total hits today. The pitching wasn't amazing, especially by the bullpen. Trevor Rogers in this game got through 5 innings, only gave up 1 run. We did have to pull him a little bit early because of toe discomfort, and there is some rumors and some there is a possibility that he might have turf toe, and if that is the case, then we are probably not going to see Trevor Rogers for the rest of the season, so this might have been Trevor Rogers' last start of the year, and if that's the case, then that is extremely unfortunate, but we all understand how good Trevor Rogers' season has been up to this point. Obviously, over 100 innings pitched, 1.4 some ERA, he's been incredible all year. So if this was his last start, shout out to Trevor Rogers. We understand how big of how big he is going to be for the rotation next year for the Orioles. Obviously, 2026 is in everyone's mind. There's been a lot of injuries this season. We understand that, and Trevor Rogers potentially might not play for the rest of the year, but it's not anything too serious of an injury that he'll miss like spring training or next year. So this might be it for him this season. And again, if so, shout out to Trevor. He had an incredible year. And at the end of this baseball season, and I'll just say this now because we are approaching the end of the year. Once we get to the end of the season, I'm going to be doing a very long episode, just kind of going over everything this season, kind of like a big season recap of this season for the Orioles, because again, we've gone over every single Orioles game up until this point. This is episode 153 of this podcast. Obviously, Ravens content is really starting to flow in a lot right now because obviously the start of the season has started for the Ravens last week, and training camp and draft and all that stuff. We've gone over all of that regarding the Ravens. And once baseball season ends, the Ravens are going to have full control over this podcast pretty much. Obviously, we're going to be discussing a lot of Ravens stuff every single day, more than we even are now. But I did just kind of want to bring that up at the beginning of this episode because we are really approaching the final 2 weeks of the season. Just kind of wanted to put that out there for you guys. But again, the Orioles lose 6-1 in this game. Not a great day. The offense didn't do great. The pitching or the bullpen really didn't do great. We had to pull Trevor Rogers due to toe discomfort. Hopefully it's not anything too serious. Hopefully we will see him again sometime this season. But from what it's looking like, it could potentially be a longer-term injury. And when I say long-term, it might be like a couple weeks before we see him. And there's no point of bringing someone back if it's an injury that's going to be over 2 weeks because there's only 2 weeks left of the season. So, let's just go over this game in detail. So going over this Orioles and Blue Jays game, obviously the Orioles lose 6-1 to the Blue Jays. Very unfortunate game. Obviously the Orioles have been one of the hottest teams in baseball here recently. They were 8-2 in their last 10 games. They won 8 of their last 9 games going into this game. And obviously they lose. They had a 3-game win streak. That is now over. They lose game 1 to Toronto. If they lose tomorrow, they lose the series. If they win tomorrow, they tie the series going into a rubber match on Sunday. But going over the stats of this game, the Orioles offense only had 3 hits in this game, and they scored 1 run off of those 3 hits. But the 3 players that got the 3 hits in this game were 3 guys that you really love to see get base hits in this game. And we'll go over that in just 1 second. But with runners in scoring position, the Orioles went 1 for 4, left 5 guys on base. But going over the offense, Jackson Holliday went 1 for 3 with an RBI. So Jackson Holliday was the guy to bring in the only run that the Orioles scored this game. The Orioles actually struck first in this game. They were up 1-0 early. Then the Blue Jays tied it in the 5th. Then they took the lead in the 6th inning, and then they just extended it even more in the 7th and 8th innings. But Jackson Holiday, as I've said this entire month of September, he's continued to really show and kind of turn his season around in a way as well. Obviously, there's only a couple weeks left of the season, but Jackson Holiday is playing really, really, really good baseball over the last couple of weeks. There was a stretch of time where he was playing really bad and he just wasn't really getting on base a lot, but he's been doing a very, very good job in terms of his average has gone up like 12 points or something. It was sitting at like a 239, I remember, for a point in time, and now it's up to 252. Obviously, Jackson Holiday has had a great season overall. Had a great season for as young as a player as he is. He's had a really good year. And this is his first full season in Major League Baseball. And I mean, for me, and I think for a lot of other people, he had a very strong season. And he showed a lot of people how good of a leadoff hitter he is. And obviously, in a leadoff hitter, you want somebody that's going to get on base a lot and set the tone for the game early on. And Jackson Holiday in this game went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk, so he actually got on base twice in this game. But going over to Jeremiah Jackson, he did not have the greatest day today. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Not the best day for Jeremiah Jackson. Didn't play too good. But for the Blue Jays pitching, they had Chris Bassett pitching, who was playing very well. He had 6 strikeouts across 5 innings. He did his thing. But Jeremiah Jackson did not have the greatest day today. Gunnar Henderson 0 for 3 with a walk. Ryan Mountcastle 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Dylan Beavers went 1 for 3, so he is one of the 3 players to get a base hit. And then Tyler O'Neill 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a walk. This was Tyler O'Neill's return. Tyler O'Neill, this was his first game back in quite a while. The last game that he played was August 5th, which was a little over a month ago. So it's been a little bit over a month since we last saw Tyler O'Neill. He came back with a nice little 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Not great by Tyler O'Neill, but back in early August and late July, he was actually playing really good baseball at that point. And he was playing pretty well. He got his average up, but in his return today didn't really do great. And I think the plan with Tyler O'Neill is just to kind of play him for the rest of the season. Maybe not every single day, but he's probably going to be mostly a DH the rest of this year, I would think. And we'll see what happens from there. There's also reports saying that we might get Adley Rutschman back for like the final, week or week and a half of the season or so. I don't really know what the point of that is with Basayo on the team and with now Tyler O'Neill back being a DH. I don't really know how they're going to fit all these at-bats in for the last few weeks of the season, or last couple weeks of the season, I should say, but that's up to Tony Mansolino. Tyler O'Neill didn't play great. Colton Cowser 0 for 3. And then Samuel Basayo was batting 8th in this game. He was one of the 3 players with base hits in this game. He went 1 for 3 with a run scored in this game. Jackson Holiday ended up bringing Basayo home in the 3rd inning, which obviously was the first run scored of the game by both teams. But Basayo 1 for 3 in this game with a run scored. The one hit that he had was a scorching double off the center field wall. Hit the ball extremely hard. I think it was like 101 miles per hour off the bat. Basayo, obviously we understand how good of a player that he's going to be. He hits the ball so incredibly hard. But right now, obviously the strikeouts are a little bit of a problem. He's trying to chase a lot of things, but at the same time, pitchers are kind of adjusting to how he plays because of how well he played in his first 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Pitchers and the MLB and the pitchers in general saw how good he was playing, saw how, fast he was getting to the ball, and saw how he was punishing balls inside the zone. So pitchers are kind of, being more careful with him, but also adjusting to his play style as well. And it's up to Basayo, obviously just turned 21 a few weeks ago. It's up to him to kind of adjust back. And that's what it is with baseball players who are young, you know what I mean? When you're in the MLB and you're a young baseball player and you're someone who has a lot of hype like Samuel Basayo does, and for Basayo's case, he came out and was great. Like, he came into the MLB and he was playing really good and he started off really good. And then pitchers, kind of adjusted to him, and now Basayo's trying to kind of adjust back to the pitching. And it's just a game of adjusting back and forth until you kind of find your sweet spot and how you want to play. But Basayo did get a base hit today, did get a double, which is really good to see. Again, there really wasn't a lot to talk about regarding the Orioles offense. They only had 3 hits on the day, but to see Basayo get a base hit, to see Dylan Beavers get a base hit, and to see Jackson Holiday get a base hit and bring in a run is encouraging. It is cool to see. And then Emmanuel Rivera was batting ninth today. He didn't get a base hit either. So 3 hits today by the Orioles, only 1 run scored. You're not going to win a lot of games when you only score 1 run as a team, but the players that did get the base hits was encouraging to see. But if we go over to the pitching, we mentioned earlier with Trevor Rogers, he did get taken out of this game a little bit early due to toe discomfort, but that did not stop Trevor Rogers from having a good game in this game. Got through 5 innings, gave up 3 hits and 4 walks, so he did, his control really wasn't there today for Trevor. This was, in terms of base runners he was allowing on, this is probably the worst he's looked all year, to be honest. But through 5 innings, but he did work. He worked through the innings, he got through it, he played very hard, like he's always done this season. But got through 5 innings of work, gave up 3 hits, 4 walks, 0 earned runs. He gave up 1 run, but it was not earned because it was not the runner that got on base wasn't from him. So 5 innings, 3 hits, 4 walks, 0 earned runs, and had 6 strikeouts across those 5 innings. But the 79 pitch count across 5 innings, he was getting worked a little bit, but they did pull him because of toe discomfort. But 5 innings, 0 earned runs. But the 4 walks and the 3 hits is not great to see. The hits isn't as big as a deal, but the 4 walks across 5 innings isn't great. His control really wasn't there. And again, I don't know if we're going to see Trevor Rogers again this season. I don't know if we're going to see him over the next couple of weeks. I don't know if he's going to get another start. But if this is his last game, if this is his last start, shout out to Trevor Rogers, man. He's going to be such a big part of this rotation going into next year, and I cannot wait to see a full season of Trevor Rogers, because Trevor Rogers only did, throughout the season, he did only have 95 innings pitched this season. Well, really, he had 100 innings pitched this season, and this was his 16th start of the year. So he didn't necessarily have a full year of baseball. He definitely technically kind of only played half a season if you want to count a full season of starts by a normal starter, everyday starter, or not everyday starter, but a normal rotational starter. But Trevor Rogers. Next year, we're going to see a full year of Trevor Rogers, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see if he can continue to have his ERA super, super low like he did this year. But a historical season by Trevor Rogers, a 1.43 ERA across 100 innings of work. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible, and I would have loved to see the numbers across a full season span, but across those 100 innings pitched, across those 16 starts, he was incredible for the Baltimore Orioles. So shout out to Trevor Rogers. He was great. We're obviously going to talk a lot about him in the season recap once the season ends, so make sure to tune into that here in a couple of weeks. But Dietrich ends. He got the loss in this game, actually. He is now 3-3 this year in recorded wins and losses. He got through 1.1 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk. He did get credited the loss because that's when the Blue Jays took the lead. And then Sean Dubin looked pretty bad in his 1.2 innings of work. He gave up 4 hits, 1 walk, and 3 runs across 1.2 innings. A 39 pitch count across 1.2 innings. Not great by Sean Dubin. Obviously, Sean Dubin is somebody that the Orioles picked up a little over a week ago from the Astros, pretty much off of the waiver. The Astros released Sean Dubin, and the Orioles went and snatched him and picked it up. So in his first couple of starts, or his first couple of outings, he was okay. Today he did not play too great, but the game was, kind of already over by the time Sean Dubin even was pitching. But it just kind of made matters a little bit worse. It made the score a little bit more uneven. But again, a 6-1 loss for the Orioles. Unfortunate. The Orioles are still a super hot team in baseball, but their 3-game winning streak does come to an end. And we'll see if the Orioles can go and win tomorrow and tie this series up. Because again, the Blue Jays are the team with the best record in the American League. They've been incredible all year. They're going to win the division. in the AL East. They're going to win that division. They've been incredible. But the Orioles tomorrow, it's going to be Sagano versus Max Scherzer. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Two old guys, two old heads playing. Max Scherzer, obviously a Hall of Famer. He's an incredible all-time pitcher. He's had an okay season, a 4.36 ERA across 74 innings. Not great by Max Scherzer, not prime Max Scherzer numbers, but he is super late in his career. And Sagano has not really had the greatest year ever, a 4.50 ERA across 143 innings, 10 wins, 8 losses. The 10 wins is nice, but again, the ERA isn't amazing from Sagano. I don't think that we're going to re-sign him, so I think this is going to be Sagano's one and only year for the Orioles. It'll be interesting to see where he goes next year because this is his rookie year. He only signed a one-year deal, so we'll see what Sagano does this offseason. I don't really expect us to re-sign him, but we shall see. But it's going to be Sagano versus Scherzer tomorrow. If the Blue Jays win, they win the series. If the Orioles win, they will force. It will go to a rubber match on Sunday. But the game, it's not like it's going to force the game on Sunday because the game on Sunday is going to happen no matter what happens tomorrow. But on Sunday, it is going to be an undecided pitcher for the Orioles versus Shane Bieber. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, the Orioles are looking in a good spot right now. In terms of 2026, they are in a good spot. Obviously you're getting Kyle Bradish back. Sagano has proven that he can be an elite part of your rotation. You have Gunnar, obviously. You have Jackson. You got Basayo. You got Beavers. You got Jordan Westberg hopefully coming back next season healthy. So everything is going to be looking a lot better for the Orioles in 2026. And also you bring in the fact that the Orioles are going to be getting a new general manager after Mike Elias did become now the president of baseball operations for the Orioles, so we're going to be getting a new GM, which is going to be really good, really good. We understand Mike Elias has made a ton of mistakes as a general manager, but with him not being the GM anymore, with him being the president of baseball operations, it's going to allow an opportunity for the Orioles to go get somebody new, so that's going to be very fun to see, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as we close out this year, head into spring training, head into the offseason, and obviously head into 2026. It's going to be very fun to watch. It's going to be very fun to see. And again, I just cannot wait for 2026 because I really do think that this Orioles team can get off to a way better start next season and then hopefully be in playoff contention and division contention for next year because we understand this year a lot of stuff happened early on, pitching problems, injuries, offensive slumps, just all that combined. It started off on a rough start. We also had to fire our manager. It just wasn't the best start, and we all understand that. But I do, respect these Orioles for really fighting through what happened, fighting through this season. Shout out to Gunnar. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to those two guys specifically. They've been here this entire time this season. But again, it's not the end of the year. I don't know why I'm talking like it's the end of the season. We still got a little over 2 weeks left of the season. Obviously, we got this weekend series, and we got a series against the White Sox next week, so that should be fun. But yeah. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. There's nothing really Ravens related to go over too much in this episode. We are going to be doing a big game preview for Ravens-Browns on Sunday, or for the Ravens-Browns game on Sunday. Tomorrow is Saturday, so we're going to be doing the game preview for the game on Sunday. We're going to be talking about the final injury report, kind of what I expect for the team, talking about some of the key matchups in this game, and also there's some storylines attached to this game as well, talking about what Grant Delpit said, what Jerry Jeudy said. We made an episode yesterday kind of talking about all the stuff that the Browns were saying. So we'll cover that a little bit more tomorrow in the game preview. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, Ravens football, week 2 back on Sunday, so that should be very fun. And then Sunday, we're obviously going to be Sunday night, we're going to do an episode covering the Ravens game and also the Orioles game. So lots of stuff in the month of September. Ravens, Orioles at the same exact time. It's the best time of the year. It's the best of both worlds, and it's a lot of fun. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify, and make sure to like the video on YouTube as well. Also, make sure to click the link in the bio of whatever platform you're listening on. Make sure to follow the Instagram, follow the Twitter. I do live tweets on my Twitter all the time. Just kind of live updates, live reactions to things, live updates to games. If you were following the Twitter and you during last week and you saw the Ravens game last week, I was live tweeting like every moment, just constant emotions throughout the game. I'm going to be doing the same thing on Sunday for the Browns game, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then also follow the Instagram, because on Instagram, we're posting updates on every single time there is an episode getting uploaded, so you always can stay up to date with the show. Again, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a great sales day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see you later. Peace out.